Good morning, St. Francis, and good morning, people of God. It is Monday, the 8th day of May, 2023, Monday of the 5th week of Easter. It is the 30th day of the Easter season, so 20 more days of glory, wonder, and joy we are called to celebrate as Easter continues and continues to unfold in our midst. Coming to you this morning again from the Great Green Slope, which is in all of its springtime glory of green before the summer heat and whatever it is will turn it brown and ugly. But right now it's quite beautiful to come out and kind of to sit upon it or to stand around it and to enjoy it. And the labyrinth is right there behind me, and then the great carillon, the bell tower of our chapel behind me. So Monday of the 5th week of Easter, we've made the turn into the latter half of the Easter season. Acts of the Apostles. Paul is on his journeys throughout the Eastern Mediterranean, through Asia Minor and into the other parts of Greece and things like that. And he and his traveling companion Barnabas come to the city of Lystra, however you want to pronounce it, and he begins preaching. Again, Paul trying to reconcile some understandings of Greek philosophy with the Christian movement, with Jesus' mission and his message. And in the midst of his preaching, and he has attracted a crowd around him, he comes upon a person who is lame or crippled or cannot walk or whatever it is, and he heals this individual, and the individual is able to get up and walk and all kinds of things. Well, here is a reaction that might be different from his Jewish audience, that he might have done the same thing before, because again in Lystra there is probably a small Jewish community, but is predominantly Gentile, is predominantly Greek, part of the empire, and so they respond to it in a very different way than might a Jewish audience. And they think that Paul and Barnabas are gods descended from heaven and walking in their midst, and they believe that Barnabas is Zeus and Paul is Hermes. They want to offer sacrifices to them and everything else like that, and Paul is quick to say, no, we're just like you, we're just human beings. But again, this power of Christ that works within us is causing these wonderful things to happen, and the people don't believe it, and they continue to try to offer sacrifice to him. To them both. It's a kind of a humorous moment within Paul's journeys of kind of misinterpretation and misunderstanding or whatever it is, but it says something to us, I think, again, about what it means to have God's power in our midst. Again, Paul and Barnabas are not about doing supernatural things just to kind of entertain and to astound an audience. They are about responding to where help is needed, to where the work of God needs to be revealed and needs to be expressed, and God gives them this power to do so, and that is the wonder and joy of what it means to be human, is the fact that, again, God sees in us the ability to carry on God's work, again, God's work that might be miraculous in some ways, but is also the sense in recognizing where there is need and where we need to respond to those needs, and where we need to have the courage, to stand up again for what is right and good and truthful, because as we heard this past Sunday, Christ is the way, the truth, and the life. And we ourselves are meant to express that in what it is that we say and what it is that we do. It may lead to misunderstandings, as Paul experiences and Barnabas experience, but it does not mean that we stop trying to let the power of Christ, let the power of God work through us. It does not make us gods, but remember that we are always God-like. And again, this Easter season helps us to remember again that we are made in God's image, an image that can never be taken away or removed from us, because it finds its origin and its source in God, and God does not do takebacks. God allows that image to flourish, and it's up to us to make sure that it is given enough room to be able to flourish in this world. The thing is linked, this first reading is kind of linked to the Gospel today from John, again continuing in the Last Supper speeches that Jesus makes, and a question is asked to him as to why he is revealing himself to the apostles and not to everybody else. And Jesus basically says, and he gives kind of a roundabout answer. He doesn't say why, but again, Jesus is a tendency always to give roundabout answers, is that, again, whoever listens to me and hears my voice, listens to the Father. And again, this idea of great work being able to be done through them. The whole point of this is to say that Jesus doesn't need to reveal himself to everybody by first person. Jesus needs to use us. Jesus gives us the power to reveal who and what he is to each other. And that is a wonderful responsibility. That is a wonderful privilege. That is a wonderful truth and reality about us as believers. We are the instruments of revelation. We are the instruments of incarnation, and we can never forget that. Jesus does not need to keep coming down and doing everything himself. He trusts us to be able to help spread the kingdom, to spread the mission, to spread the message. And at the end of this passage, Jesus talks about the advocate, the Holy Spirit. Again, the first now of the instances of referring to the Holy Spirit coming, which will happen at Pentecost, to be able to give us the courage to be able to do just that, but it's us remembering that we are the vehicles, of God's glory and God's grace in this world. And we should never, ever drop that responsibility or ignore that responsibility or reject that responsibility. Because if it isn't through us as believers, then it becomes very difficult, for the world to understand God's goodness and God's wonder and God's glory. It's a wonderful thing for us to remember in this Easter season, and something for us to embrace in all we say and do. A continued blessed Easter season, St. Francis and people of God. May the Lord give you his peace.